Namaskar. Just when you thought that the issue of universities conforming with some of the policies laid down by the federal government has been settled, comes a new googly. A federal court judge from Boston has actually said that Trump's restraining $2.6 billion in research grants to Harvard is not legal. We're going to talk about this, a little bit more details on what's going on, and a small request to all of you to please like this video. If you have not already subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel. Here we go. So what happened? The court has restored Harvard's research funding. Why? Well, in April 2025, the Trump administration froze close to $2.6 billion in federal research grants to Harvard University. The funding freeze was justified by allegations of anti-Semitism, radical left ideologies, as well as racial bias at Harvard. You've seen many of these things post the October 7, 2023 episode, where you saw that pro-Palestinian students were preventing actually Jewish students from attending classes. There was a lot of anti-Semitism on display in the campus, and that's what prompted the Trump administration to act in the way they did. Well, what happened was, when the funding was frozen, Harvard sued the Trump administration in April 2025. And the judge, Alison Burroughs, now we are in September, she's Boston-based, ruled that Trump administration violated Harvard's First Amendment rights when it froze and revoked funds for research grants. The decision vacated the freeze orders and termination letters issued by the government. The ruling also blocked admin from withholding future payments or stopping existing funding streams. The $2 billion has now become $2.6 billion. Well, Burroughs also noted that Harvard has been plagued by anti-Semitism in recent years, and that it should have taken stronger action to address it. So it is like monkey balancing, if you will. The judge argued that combating anti-Semitism was not the administration's true aim, but rather a smokescreen for ideological control over universities. So I would say the judgment sort of leans a little bit in one direction, rather than just saying that, look, you have violated the first freedom freedom of speech rights. She kind of tried to do monkey balancing, and something I smell there. Let's see how this thing plays out. Then what happened was, in June 2025, this was 3 months ago, the same judge had blocked Trump's administration's proclamation that sought to suspend student visas and prevent new international students from attending Harvard. She issued a temporary restraining order citing similar concerns about overreach that were raised in a prior lawsuit filed by Harvard. While all this was going on, I believe that, at least the New York Times also reported this, if I remember correctly, that the number for settlement by Harvard, where Harvard said that they will review all the procedures and make sure that all students feel safe, as well as pay a fine of $550 million. Somewhere, I think that was going on, and in the meantime, this ruling has come, but then this is going to be appealed for sure by the Trump administration to the Supreme Court of the United States, if not something above this particular federal court. So we'll wait and see. In the meantime, the president of Harvard, Alan Garber, has celebrated the ruling as affirming Harvard's First Amendment and procedural rights. Garber noted that the university will continue to monitor the legal landscape while pursuing its mission despite political pressures. Harvard stressed that universities must remain free in decisions on admissions, hiring, and research focus. Now, White House has promised that it is going to sue this thing, and it also described the Judge Burroughs' action as White House described Judge Burroughs as being an activist judge appointed by Barack Obama, suggesting bias in the ruling. Liz Houston, assistant press secretary, argued that Harvard does not have a constitutional right to taxpayer dollars, and said that the university remains ineligible for future federal funding. So there could be still a situation where they get these $2.6 billion back, but future funding could still be frozen. I'm sure the Trump administration can find some other loophole to say that, okay, using this, we are freezing funding. We'll just wait and see, right? Now, this is as far as Harvard is concerned. How did the other Ivy League universities do? Columbia, Penn, and Brown settled. Columbia settled for 200 million and Brown for 50 million to a Rhode Island workforce development organizations. And UPenn has also reached an agreement in July 2025 resolving a federal rights case. So with all these things happening, why is Harvard still holding on? Well, it is believed that Harvard has the biggest endowment. However, the problem with that is the number looks impressive, but how much money Harvard has in its hands for discretionary spending, that's a whole new ball game. This is where things are getting really interesting for Harvard. I don't know how Harvard is going to, handle it if the Supreme Court rules for the Trump administration. If that happens, then Harvard is going to be in big doo-doo. Not only that, Harvard has close to 45%, if I remember correctly, foreign body, which means they are paying full fees, and that means that they are getting money hand over fist by way of tuitions also. But be that as it may, Harvard is one of the most prestigious educational institutions in the United States, and those of you who are sending your children there, please be aware, please be abreast of what is going on, and please be prepared to accept the kind of treatment you might receive at Harvard. So, what is going to happen then? My 2 cents, viewers, and I could be wrong here, my 2 cents is that ultimately Harvard will settle with the Trump administration, because there are many ways in which the Trump administration can still restrict or even stop funding, and it doesn't behoove a university of caliber of Harvard to not see that thing through. They might just say, okay, we'll pay the fine. Maybe they'll try to haggle the fine amount down from 500 to 250 or 300 or something, and a promise of good behavior. I don't know how this is going to play out, but that's how I would expect a university, which is like a huge corporation in itself, would do. But let's wait and see how this plays out. That's all I have as an update. Let me see what other things you guys have. Are there any questions from you all? Yes, there is a couple of questions here. Let me take those questions. Hang on a second. First question from Krishna Kishore. Anti-Semitism or anti-Hindu, pro-Palestine or Mevra on Brahmins, both racism only, why not take action? Well, that's what the Trump administration tried to do. They tried to rein in Harvard. They tried to tell them that you're not going to get funding if you continue on insisting on implementing DEI programs. You have to understand, universities, government organizations went and did a ton of hiring saying that these are the DEI compliance officials, and all of them have been sent home now. I'm sympathetic to them, but the problem is this philosophy is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. This is not what the principles on which the country of United States was based. So we'll have to wait and see what's the next action going to be. Krishna continues, even now New York City hotels are full with illegals. Not sure why Trump stopped deporting these illegals. See, this is a little bit more tricky. You need to prove a case before you can find somebody and deport them. You got to match the crime with the person. I don't think the Trump administration is going after people who are just illegal. If they have a criminal record, those are the people that they are going after. I checked how many deported.com. It was around 221,000 people today. I think it's moving around the same pace as before, maybe a little bit slower now. It was doing about 1,000 a day. Maybe now it is going 500 a day. I don't know the exact number, but next time I talk about this, I'll give you an update on at what rate illegals are being deported. Also, you got to realize that they have to have a place to send them to. If the host country won't take them, what happens then? So lots of small things like that are still being discussed. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.